And joining us now here on Market Talk, pleased to have with us Mark Warner, agronomist at Agoro Carbon Alliance, joining us here today as we learn more about Agoro Carbon Alliance. Mark, great to have you on the show with us today. I hope you're doing well.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's dive right in. Let's talk about who is Agoro Carbon Alliance. For folks who may have heard the name, may not be quite familiar with what you guys do, can you just give us a little background on Agoro to start?
Yeah, so we were, started summer of 2021, and Agoro was an idea that started through Yara International. So Yara is a, large producer in the fertilizer space, but also has a real passion for renewable energy, sustainability, things of that matter. They were founded over 100 years ago and used, hydroelectric power to start making fertilizer all those years ago. So the concept of renewable and sustainable energy and having a low environmental impact is something that comes natural to Yara. So they had a vision and started assembling a team of agronomists and carbon specialists and just people from all over the ag industry and the carbon industry to build this team. And eventually we were spun off April 1st of last year. We were spun off into our own company. So we do operate independently of Yara, but they still are our primary financial backer of the company and is very invested in the success of Agoro. So we have a very, very strong financial backing that people that choose to work with us or consider seeing what we have to offer can have confidence that the money behind us is very secure and we're here for the long haul, not for the short term.
Well, talk a little bit about, you guys use the term "our soils, our solution." As I was looking through Agoro's website, agorocarbonalliance.com, and I think that's a great segue into some of the things you guys do as you look to have farmers sequester carbon in their soil with carbon credit incentives, et cetera, et cetera. So talk just a little bit about how the process works with Agoro.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, the farmer or rancher has to implement some type of practice change, what we call additionality. So we have to reduce our tillage or move to no-till, implement cover crops. On the range and pasture side, we have several practice changes around improved grazing, fertilizing your pasture, seeding your pasture, things like that. And through these practice changes, we can show through modeling and soil testing that we can increase the amount of soil organic carbon (SOC) in our soils. And through our modeling and sampling, we can then show that through the length of our contract, which is 10 years, we can yield X amount of tons of carbon. Agoro works as somewhat of the middleman in the process. So we work with the farmers to aggregate these acres together, implement the practice changes. Once we go through our verification process and soil sampling, we have verification that these tons actually exist. We did actually pull carbon out of the atmosphere and store it in the soil. And at that point, that carbon credit gets sold to the buyer. Anybody that's saying, we're going to achieve net zero by this date or carbon neutrality, any of these companies that are claiming these messages are interested in buying these carbon credits that we have to sell and that we're generating through our farmers. And the real differentiation in what we're doing with the verification process is saying that these tons actually exist. These tons came out of the atmosphere and into the soil. And that's really where we differentiate on a carbon credit standpoint from other carbon credits in the industry. There's a lot of other companies out there that are pursuing carbon credits, but those of us that actually go through the verification process to say, look, these tons actually have weight and they actually exist, they did come out of the atmosphere, there is a limited supply of those credits, and that's what we're looking to generate here at Agoro.
Well, Mark, one point that you made as well is that this isn't just for row crop farmers, it's for ranchers as well. We're looking at both sides of the agriculture spectrum here. If folks want to work with Agoro Carbon Alliance and work on their carbon sequestration, it's for both farmers and ranchers.
Absolutely. The range and pasture piece has been a big hit for us, and we've had a lot of success in that piece, not only in the West, but also in the East. Some of our row crop customers that may have 100 or 200 acres of pasture, we can sign up that pasture in the program too if they can show some level of additionality. So it's been a really good fit for us and a really good fit for our customers, and we've had a lot of success in that area.
Well, and not only are we working on, bettering our environment with carbon sequestration, it's also, as we've mentioned, a revenue stream for our farmers and ranchers. And I believe Since the launch in 2021, Agoro's paid around what, $12 million to
Yep.
farmers and ranchers. That's a pretty impressive number already, Mark.
Yep, and that comes in the form of prepayments. So we have a couple different payment options where we will pay annual payments the first 4 and 5 years of the contract. So we've already fronted over $12 million, and that should give some confidence to the industry that this is for real. The money's actually real, and these checks have been in the hands and cash by our farmers and ranchers, and yeah, it's the real deal.
Well, and Mark as well. I know it's not just something where you sign farmers up and then leave them for the 10-year contract. You guys have your grower success team. You have a lot of resources to work with farmers and ranchers that sign up and work with Agoro Carbon Alliance to kind of help them through the process, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. That's kind of the area of the company I work in. I'm on the grower success team, and that's one area we also want to differentiate ourselves from some of our competition. Is we don't want to just get a signed contract and walk away and say, okay, here's what you're going to do. We'll see you in so many years. We work with the farmers and ranchers to collect their data, to get them enrolled into the process, collect their field boundaries, you name it. We collect 3 years of historical data when we sign an individual up. We help with that collection, navigate them through that, enter that data into our programs, and then set up meetings throughout the years that they're in the contracts to help them with those responsibilities, but also any questions they may have, carbon market questions, agronomy questions around the practice change they have. Our team is really diverse, and we all have different areas of expertise and different areas of the ag industry we came from. And we really have a fantastic team and fantastic knowledge around the conservation agriculture. And if one of our farmers or ranchers has a question, I'm confident that our team can answer it.
Well, Mark, I know if farmers and ranchers have some of those questions, a great way to get started is online, agrocarbonalliance.com. I know you guys also have a carbon potential calculator on that website too. So a couple different resources available for farmers and ranchers to get started, isn't there?
Yep, absolutely. If they're interested, yeah, get on the website, look around. We're spread out all over the country as far as our resources and agronomists and sales individuals. So if you'd like to talk to somebody in person, look up your information on there and somebody be in contact with you. We'd love to talk to you.
And again, agorocarbonalliance.com. With that, Mark Warner, agronomist at Agoro Carbon Alliance. Thanks for joining us today. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks again for having me.